first edition of Bucks Report for the 2024 football season, and I'm here with Covington coach Austin Morgan. And Coach, your kids have put in a lot of time over the off season, and the scrimmages they went off the charts on improvement.
Yeah.
Can you kind of go over that?
Yeah, the time they put in has been incredible. I mean, we start lifting when the season ends. You get 30 days till the season ends to start lifting. We start right away. So we've been going since November last year, lifting multiple times a week, 6 a.m. all year round, and you can see the growth of size in the kids, like the maturity of like being in the weight room, working out constantly. So we're a lot stronger, faster, bigger than we were last year, and that's purely because of the work they put in, which has been great. You mentioned the scrimmages. Yeah, we had two full contact scrimmages. Our first one was Tri-Belgian Graham, and it was a massive improvement the way they play. Of not just the quality of play was better. The execution was there. A lot of the same kids back as last year, so they're a little bit ahead. But the big difference was the culture of the kids, the way they talked, the way they carried themselves, the way the energy they brought, the toughness they had. I mean, it was truly relentless. They played really hard. There was early, so it was sloppy mistakes here and there, but like for the most part, man, it was great. We had a week and we could fix some things. The kid kept working at it. We had Dixie last Friday, and they played really well. I mean, they executed their job almost every time the right way. Our steps were great. We played well, and I think how the kids just gave the intensity and aggression they played with really dominated the game early, and just carried us through. So it's one of those things where one of our issues we worked on a lot this offseason was starting with energy, because we were really good at halfway through building up to that energy, but not really starting with it was an issue for us. Coming out first play and throwing the first punch, and playing tough when the first kick off the ball, and that was a huge emphasis for us, and we did a heck of a job on Friday improving that area.
One thing is we took a picture of how many returning lettermen you have. I don't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head, but it was obvious at the scrimmages that you had that almost all the kids, well, actually all the kids on the roster got a lot of reps.
Yeah.
And none of the kids wore numbers, so it's hard to tell which kid was which on the field, but you couldn't see any weak spots.
Yeah.
So the fact that all these kids were able to get on the field and get a lot of reps, and you didn't see any downslide, that's pretty impressive. Even if you got 28 kids on your roster, or 29, or whatever, 30, whatever we have.
Yeah.
It's really impressive all those kids were able to do that.
Yeah, so we do have some weak spots we were working on still. We're getting there. But as far as the drop-off, I think the big reason we have a lot of that is the way we compete at practice every day. To where just because you're on scout team, whatever, like they still get great reps and they get great looks, and they're trying to get better too. So it's kind of the iron sharpens iron mentality of you're not just there just to be the hitting dummy. Right? You're there to get better yourself. You're there to improve the guy beside you too. So kind of the way they practice, the way we practice of really competing at all time. Like everything you do is competition. You do that. So that mentality makes kids have to compete nonstop, and there's no hiding. You can't just come in here and stand in the back of the room and just sit there. So because of that, a lot of the guys improve, have progression.
Okay, and also you have a lot of leadership on your team. Can you talk about your leadership, the kids that are the leaders and that motivate other kids?
Yeah, I mean it's really unique leadership we have this year. We have 6 seniors that do a great job, hold the standard themselves. We have a lot of young guys that have stepped up into leadership roles too, and it's one of the things that in coaching that I try to improve here a little bit is just because you're older guy, you have the say, or you have the authority, and there's this hierarchy of seniors, juniors, sophomores, freshmen, right? And trying to break that down and say it doesn't matter what grade you are, anybody can hold anybody accountable. And you think about it, it's much better if you have 30 kids holding everybody accountable, not just 4 seniors or 5 seniors, whatever it is. There's way more accountability than the team. So kind of breaking down the hierarchy of just because you're a freshman, just because you're a sophomore, that doesn't mean you can't lead. That doesn't mean you can't step up. And you get some reps at leading early, because as everyone knows, when you first start leading, you suck. And it's part of the deal. You're going to have to learn through mistakes and trial and error as a leader. And so getting these young kids in there as a leadership spot early so they can eventually have to grow in that role was really big for us. So kind of breaking down a hierarchy of grade classes doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you start, it doesn't matter if you're the best player, if you're the worst player, like none of that matters. We're all on the same team. Everyone has a role. Every role is a little bit different, like a little bit maybe unequal, but they are all equal to the success of the team. So just because you're the biggest, strongest, best kid does not mean you're the best leader. Everybody's the leader. So we kind of demand that from the kids, and we have a handful of sophomores that step up and lead. Even in most teams, they would just be quiet and stand there. And I think by the time they're older, they just get so much more reps at leading, so much more reps at being in charge and demanding and holding people accountable. That by the time they're a senior, man, their leadership's all the charge. And look at our seniors now; it's been that way this whole entire time. When they were freshman and sophomore, and we demanded that they lead, and they weren't very good at first. Then they had to learn and make mistakes and figure things out on the fly. And then now they're seniors, and it's like they've had so much experience leading, and that's why they stand out a lot as our leaders.
Well, and here you are. You're 2 days. Friday night, we got our first home game, regular season game. So right now, could you possibly think of your team being in a better position going into the first game? They're actually seem well prepared.
Yeah, I mean,
and ready.
I'll ride with the Bucks till the day I die, man. I love these boys. The work they put in, I think is second to none. Like there's a lot of great programs that work really hard. I'll throw my lot with our guys and think they put a little more effort in, a little more work in. But I'm with you with the idea of I think we're in a great spot. Like we've had some scrimmages, we've showed some success, but it's also shown where we need to get better at. Like Graham and Tri-Village gave us great reps, so like they showed some weaknesses that we need to work on. So having those scrimmages to show us some mistakes to improve from, having one like last week, we've got a lot of confidence from last week, putting us in a spot where we're like ready to roll, and a lot of experience with our guys too. So I'm ready to go with Arcanum this week. I think it's a great opportunity to go through and compete again.
Okay, so the challenge to Arcanum, our schedule, we're in the TRC. It's a tough league, and our schedule from start to finish is pretty challenging, which is great. So what is the challenge that Arcanum is going to give us?
They're a big team. They're a line. They're a big, strong line. They outweigh us in every spot in the line. They have a handful of decent skill players. They have a fullback that runs like the freight train. So a big thing for us is playing with our culture, with our brand of football, of toughness, of work, of just being relentless at what we do. That's our brand of what we do. That's going to be our point of emphasis moving forward. Because they are big, if we try to play at their level, they can dominate up front. That's scary for us. So playing with our level of our brand of football is what we need to do well this week.
Well, okay, the Buccaneers are hosting Arcanum Friday, and if the Buccaneers stick to the culture and implement all the hard work that they put in over the offseason, we could have huge success on the first game of the season. So up next, we will talk to senior Garrett Listener, who is a leader on the football team. We're back with Bucks Report, the first edition for the 2024 football season, and I'm here with senior Garrett Listener, who is a leader on the football team. So Garrett, talk about, this is your senior year and how important that is being a senior, and everything you guys done as a team in the off season to prepare for this first game against Arcanum.
Yeah. So starting with the off season, we started pretty far back. We've been lifting since December. Everybody there, we're getting after it every 3 days a week, just building our muscle, building the foundations. That way, whenever we get into actual practice, we get a strong foundation to go off of. And then, especially like this week, we hit the studying really hard on Monday, and then we've just been capitalizing on what we got to work on and what we need to look out for, and just knowing what to expect has really been a key task to succeeding this week.
Okay, and you've been a starter since your freshman year, and you've been a key player since your freshman year, and another key is your mentality and your leadership that you've been able to provide to everybody else on the football team. So, throughout your senior year, in a way you got to pass the torch on to some of the younger kids to take over the leadership. So how are you going to do that?
So I just want to give them the right example to look at to see like, okay, this is how this was done. Like I can fix it, I can improve it by doing this and that. But I want to show them like the right way of doing things first, and then like show them that it is good to be a leader, and show them when the right time is to be a leader. Especially like during the hard times, like you got to step up, and it's going to be a lot harder on you, but it's going to pull everybody else around you. So it's kind of, I'm just trying to give the best example I can to everyone on the team, and then let that role kind of fill itself, because a leadership role isn't built for everyone. So just seeing seeing an example might be good for some, just to see like, okay, this is what I got to do.
Okay, so what is your goal? I mean, this is it, you know, and every game is going to be the last of this, the last of that. What is your goal for this season?
My goal isn't really just to see how much I can win, see how good I can do. It's just, I want to see how much I can pull others along, see how much I can improve in myself this year, and just try to get to the best version of me, and pull my guys to be the best version of themselves as well.
Okay, so this coming week, our first game is against Arcanum. So what do you picture this week? What is the motivation against Arcanum?
My motivation is definitely the game last year. I mean, we played a great first 3 quarters, and then we kind of went back and took a step back after that. This year, I want to go full throttle all the way through the game and show everybody what we've been working on and what we've been building for the past 4 years.
Well, hey, if the Buccaneers go that route, the scoreboard will take care of itself. Yeah. It's the effort on the field. So this week, this Friday, the Buccaneers are hosting Arcanum for the season opener. Hopefully we get a big crowd, because these guys have put in a lot of time, and then we got great leadership right here with the senior Garrett Listner. So for Ben Robinson and Garrett Listner, good night.
And go Bucks.
Go Bucks.